last night it was getting kind of late. I ended up hodgepodging little connections together so that I could actually go and connect my batteries up. So you can see a little test cable right there. Same one down here on the bottom. And we have the two breakers hooked up. I did have to manually add the solar connections back in just so that I could get a decent charge today, because it was a beautiful day. I'm glad I got it because both batteries were hooked up. We were able to get 100% connection or 100% charge on the batteries, which was great. So tonight we're going to take a look at trying to get the breaker box put up over here, and then also seeing if I can get the battery connections up in here. I stopped at Menards on the way home from work today and picked up some new lugs. Holy cow, those are expensive. For two 2-aught lugs, it was like $12. Good grief. If I wasn't this close in the project, I would have just bought them online and waited. But so you can see over here, battery cables are connected over here. Still have to do that over here. I think I'm going to wait for a few minutes and try and get the two boxes mounted, this box and then this box as well, mounted up on the wall over here. The one box is for the power out, and then the other one will be a 60 amp 2-pole disconnect for power coming from the grid assist. So we'll mount those next to each other. I was really hoping to be able to get the conduit run down and over to the other two boxes, and I actually was trying to figure out how to make this work because I have ENT conduit. You can see it on the floor over here, this blue rigid stuff. 1 inch. So I've got the fittings, but then I was looking at the curve, and I'll show you more about this when I get to this point, but the curve down is not necessarily too sharp, but not enough space to double stack. So when I have the lines coming down from here, they have to go past this set over here, and I can't get the curve super duper tight on this. So my thought was I'm going to put a junction box here and then run the lines down into that box, and then also run the lines from this one down into this other box. And so I picked up two 4x4x2 inch boxes, and the 2 inch boxes are too shallow. They sit too far back up against the wall. So when I put it in here, they won't, I can't get the curve down into the box because it's too shallow. So I'm going to have to get a deeper box. The 4 inch should be fine. So tomorrow I'll try and pick up the 4 inch. But for the time being, what I'll do, since I don't have the cable needed for the input properly, I'll run my output conduit all the way down from the one into the panel, knowing that I will then cut it in here, splice it in. I'll have to pull the wires out when I get the new box, but at least I can get it back up and running and working again. That seems to kind of be the goal right now, is during the day when I'm not here, if I can get it back up and running and let it run during the day, let it charge, let it supply power to certain things. So let's see how far we can get tonight. It's definitely not going to be as long as it was last night. I think last night I was still down here fighting with the connections at 11:30, and I knew I was getting frustrated, couldn't find my stuff. I had pieces strewn all over the place and was just misplacing a lot of things. And so I knew that I just had to stop and come back today. So we'll probably see about dry fitting the panel on the wall, getting it marked so that I can drill into the concrete. Yay, more concrete drilling. Ooh. Get the 60 amp disconnect put next to that and mount that as well, just so that a lot of the concrete stuff can be done. A lot of the drilling. I'll have to do some drilling and stuff with a few more things, but I could do all that later. So get the boxes mounted and then try and take the conduit from here down, over and up, and put some lines in and see how far we can get. And by the end of the night, I will get the other positive 2-aught cable made for the battery connection and the negative one made as well, and get those connected in. So at least I will have power to this inverter. I won't turn it on yet. I won't make that final connection so that it will be live, but it will be really close. And let's see where the night takes us. All right, grab our box. I already have 8 inches marked on the wall over here, so I know my distance. Make sure it's the right orientation. Most of my inverters are just a hair above this seam, so finer tip. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All right, don't let me forget I unplugged the freezer so that I could plug this drill in. Wouldn't that be good? All right, and then I know I need to take this bonding screw out because the bonding is going to be done. Let's see here. The bonding is going to be done in the inverters until the grid assist gets hooked into it, and then the bonding is done in the main panel from the grid, I believe. So from what I recall, I need to pull this out. Plus, this bonding screw is very long, so it's preventing the box from being snug up against the wall. This tiny little computer screwdriver is not made for this. Again, doing it one-handed. Come on. There we go. go. All right, remove the bonding screw. Nice and snug. All right, let's get this drilling done. Amp non-fusible pull-out disconnect. So it's just going to be so that I can disconnect the grid feed over here, because my panel is, well, the panel that's going to be actually doing the grid assist is actually outside in the front of the house. So if I have to do any work in here, I don't want to have to go all the way out there to flip the breaker. I could just disconnect it here, and it's a 60 amp breaker for the grid assist, so that's perfect for this here. All right, line, so supply coming out, and my grounds together. I believe the neutrals will get tied together just in here. Actually, the neutral is just going to come in and then go back out, so I'll have to splice it, but all right. And this box will not have anything to do with this panel next to it. All right. There. I'll label this AC in or something, but that should work good. All right, let's get these glands disconnected. So everything in here should be dead except for the lines coming into the solar. Those are still on. The breakers are turned off, but the bottom poles are still very much active, so need to be aware of that. All right, so these just pop in here. At least they're supposed to. Oof, wow, those are tight. Bend those tabs just a little bit. Give me a little flexibility. One and two, all right. These are extremely tight. There we go. Well, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Hide the stickers. Alright, so the way this works, the 3 on the right are for the output, the 3 on the left are for the input. So we'll bring them down, bring them over to here. I'll have a deeper box. They'll go into the box and merge with the lines coming from here, and they will combine where they can combine. When I go and mount this box here, is due to the placement of the breaker boxes that I just added. I will have to flip-flop the top and the bottom. So naturally coming in, the output would be on the bottom and the input would sit on top. But because of the output distribution panel being the first thing, I need to flip that. So as it's coming and goes over into the panel, the output will go up into the panel while the input line will keep going underneath and come up. Hopefully that makes sense. Should make sense, at least to me when I go and do it, I hope. So for now, we want to get our line run over to the output panel. A big chunk of this, these are 10-foot sections, nice and flexible. I mean, if I really needed to, I could get a full 90-degree bend out of this. 180-degree bend. The 90-degree bend is what I'm going to use. Alright, so let's straighten this out here. And grab my Sharpie. Alright, so this should just click up in here. Where does it twist? Nope, it clicks. Twist it so that I'm not seeing its sticker. Alright. So let's get a good bend. Yeah, this is going to be fun because I forgot to pick up the line for my 10-gauge line for my solar. So for the time being, I'll run behind. But once I get the proper line, the PV line will run behind this conduit because it sits back there. But I don't want this line sitting on top of this breaker, adding more weight to the breaker. All right, come on. There we go. And I will end up, when I finalize it, I will end up putting clamps on all these to hold it to the wall. But for now, I will just leave it to where it's going from the one box up into the next one, sitting on top of this little temporary wall back here. We're going to see if my pipe cutters will cut this line easy enough. Just won't leave me alone down here, will he?
He's down here. He doesn't even think it's rude.
I think the cat was dying from all that noise.
Hello.
Oh, and there's Belle.
Hi. What you doing? Yeah, she smacked him earlier, but it was in the front room.
Boy, that cut that great. Alright, let's see here. This is output. This is going to be two-phase. Phase 1 will be on the left. Phase 2 will be on the right. Phase 1 will be black. Phase 2 will be red. Okay. And of course the necessary ground. So I need to remember to do this before I put any bends in it when I go to run it through the ceiling to go to the actual panel as well. Come on, you're right there. There. see based on this little S that this conduit is long. But we'll deal with that when I snip and shorten it. And then having a few clamps holding this thing down should help too. Alright, now unfortunately in here it does not really give you a ton of room to work. So I'm going to try and come out and loop and create a loop for each, just to give me again that little bit of play. Alright, so looking up inside here, they have it labeled ground, neutral, and line. I don't know if you can read it, but right there, AC output, and over here, AC input, line, neutral, ground. So we're only going to be doing these three right now. So when I come over to this box right now, because I'm only going to have basically the second phase hooked up, that means that only these bottom figures, only the bottom are going to be active, and I have only stubbed out for the top. So what I will do right now then is I will just move this one over to this spot so that it makes these two breakers hot, so that I can still temporarily hook up the freezer and stuff down here tonight when I'm done. It's funny. You sit here and you work on stuff and you've got junk all over the place. And you start hearing a crackling noise, and when we're working with electrical, a crackling noise normally means it's short. And so I know I've got everything turned off right now, but I'm still hearing the crackling because I'm stepping over plastic bags. And so it's making me stop and look at everything. Alright, nice and snug. Again, we'll do cable cleanup when we're done. And I will not hook up the positive over there, so this inverter will not be live. Cover it back up. Now that it's mounted, I don't have to keep unhooking it, so that'll be nice. And then what I need to do is I need to just get what I'll probably do is use a flex conduit and mount the outlet over there, which is probably what I'll end up doing. So now I should have a working outlet. Now we power on the inverter and see if I don't trip it over capacity. Nope. Wait for the click. Click. Alright, and then the green light means that primary power source is the battery, because it is 8 o'clock at night. And it's not 8 o'clock at night in the summertime. Alright. Voltage check. 120 volts. 120 volts. $120. All right. I think another good night. Got the boxes mounted, figured out the conduit run here. Got the other lines for the other inverter ready to go, so I'll be able to hook that up. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, it'll end up being sometime next week. Got a lot of stuff going on over the next few days. But if nothing else, I still have AC power, at least coming to this 4-block, so that I can power the office downstairs and the freezer. I still have my AC line that goes up to the laundry room that I will have to adjust, and maybe I will try and do that first thing tomorrow so that I can get power back to the utility room, because we're going to need to do laundry and that kind of stuff. So maybe I will work on that first when I'm able to work back down here again. So, all right, well, thanks for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.